Hello, I'm Shannon McQuaid, yoga teacher and founder of Fireflex Yoga. Today I'm going to share a healthy wrist and hand practice. We rely so much on the health and dexterity of our hands and wrists that I think it makes sense to regularly build in practices that can release tension from our hands and wrists, but also strengthen them. Being a yoga teacher for close to 20 years now, I know a lot of people come to practice with wrist sensitivity, and then they get disappointed because a lot of commonly practiced poses actually can make the wrist feel more painful. So towards the end of today's class, I'm going to show you modifications for the most common yoga postures that could cause your wrist to feel more sensitive. So let's take a moment to transition from the world of thinking down into the world of feeling, into our body. So moving from our head down into our body. And a way to make this transition seamless is to feel the breath in the body. So take a moment to notice how your body moves as you breathe. And just beginning to notice your breath, it can deepen. And when we pay attention to our breath, we're also practicing something called presence. Because you don't breathe in the past or the future. When you're paying attention to your breath, you are present. And then let me turn sideways so I can take us into our first practice. And this is a practice to stretch the wrists and the palms. So start by lifting your right arm up, shoulder height, and then turn the palm towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, go ahead and drop that right shoulder blade down and then point the fingers towards the mat. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, use your left hand to gently draw all 4 fingers back and at the same time, press through the heel of your hand. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, simply release the pointer finger. Inhaling, release the middle finger. Inhaling. Exhaling, release the ring finger, index finger. Inhaling. Exhaling, release the pinky finger. And then let your right palm rest in your lap. Let the shoulder relax down. And just take your attention into the whole right arm and notice any sensations that are present there. And whatever you're noticing, just let that be. Inhaling, lift the right arm up. Same thing, turn the palm towards the ceiling. Drop the fingertips towards the floor, point them down, and then lower your left shoulder down. Grabbing all 4 fingers with your right hand, gently pull the fingers back as you press through the heel of the hand. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling, release the pointer finger. Exhaling, release the middle finger. Exhaling, release the index finger. Exhaling, release the pinky finger and let the left hand rest in your palm. And just notice any sensations in the left arm, forearm, wrist, and fingers. And whatever you're feeling, just let that be as it is. And now I'll turn towards you again so you can see this next practice. We'll interlace the fingers, remembering which thumb is on top, and then bringing the palms together, begin to make figure 8s in space with your knuckles. This is really targeting the wrists. And then pausing and going in the opposite direction, making an infinity sign or carving out figure 8s in space with your knuckles, and then pause. And then all we're going to do is just simply put the opposite thumb on top, let the elbows bend and the shoulders soften, and then we can start making figure eights in the most natural direction for you. You might hear some clicking and popping in the wrists, and then move in that more unnatural direction. Working into the wrist, creating some more mobility there to that joint. Nice. And then again, just let both hands rest on your lap. You can put one palm on top of the other. Notice what you feel in your fingertips, in your palms, in your wrists. The third exercise I'll show you for maintaining healthy wrists and hands is something called the jellyfish posture. So letting your fingertips just dangle and leading with the wrists. You're going to draw the fingers together as the hands come up, and then spread the fingers wide and draw the palms down. And again, bring the fingertips together as the arms lift up, and then spread the fingers wide as the hands go down. So you can see why they call this the jellyfish exercise, right? Because if you've ever been to an aquarium or seen a jellyfish propel through the water, it looks something like this. This is one of my favorite because it feels so good on my wrists. And maybe moving with your breath. This could also be very calming for your mind. And then all the way down, and again, rest. Let your hands relax. Last posture is we'll do in tabletop. And again, if wrists are sensitive, you might want to stay up on your fingertips. But we'll start here with flat palms. Our wrists are underneath our shoulders. Our knees are underneath our hips. Then you can begin by drawing the right fingertips back towards the knees. And this will put a pretty strong stretch in the front of the wrist there. As you press the palm down, you can stay here if this is already enough for you, or you can begin to lean the hips back a little bit, increasing the stretch in the wrist. And then inhaling, come forward, and exhaling. And if you're not moving forward and back with the hips, then just stay here, breathing deeply, deciding if this is working for you. And then one more time, let the hips go back. And then inhale, bring your shoulder back over your wrist and release. And so the right fingertips are pointing towards the front of the mat, and then we'll turn the left fingertips back towards the knee, left knee, and again, you can rock back and forth, or you can just hold this posture. And then when you're finished, come back into tabletop pose. You can draw your knees together. You can tuck the toes to get a little stretch in the soles of your feet. And now I'm going to show you some modifications. So when you're in your own practice and your wrists are bothering you, let me give you a couple of suggestions. So one suggestion is when you find yourself in tabletop pose. So when the wrists are directly underneath the shoulders, which is typical cueing for this particular posture, you can see that there's almost a 90-degree flexion in the wrist. So to take some of the pressure out of the wrist, all you need to do is make a fist. Now there's no flexion in the wrist. And you can make fists in both hands to create symmetry across the shoulders. And you can still do tabletop postures like coming into cat-cow pose, right? This is pretty common in yoga classes. And you can do this without bothering your wrists. Yep, or you can do the elbow to knee, right? You will extend your right leg behind you and then draw the knee in towards the chest. This can also be done with your fingers curled into fists. Another common pose is downward facing dog, and if you have pain in your wrist, then down dog could exacerbate this pain. So a suggestion I make for my students is the cueing is to keep the hands shoulder width apart, but my suggestion is to widen the palms and then turn the fingertips out towards the edges of the mat. So let me show you what that looks like. So I like to start in down dog with my hips way back and in child's pose, and then I will open up my arms wider than the width of my shoulders and turn the fingers out. And then from here you can come onto hands and knees, and if that feels okay, you can lift your hips up and then back, moving into downward facing dog. And then another posture that feels really good that you can modify for your wrists is in child's pose. So coming into child's pose with the arms, I like knees wide apart in child's pose, with the arms out in front of you, and then instead of flattening the palms, press up onto the fingertips. And you can drop your forehead down and make so your palms are making like tents. And then some people, a way to actually strengthen your palms, coming back onto hands and knees, is to just press and come and then make this tenting with the palms a few times to strengthen that. Okay, so there's some practices for you that you could build into your work day, sitting at your desks, just taking a moment and giving your wrists and hands a break. Thanks so much for practicing with me. I look forward to seeing you again. Namaste.